Whilst I was exploring some camera shops in Japan, I stumbled across these 2 rolls of film that I had never seen before. One was red and had this cool flower design on it, and one was blue and had the really famous wave painting on it. So I had to buy both and I wanted to try them out. This video is going to be mostly focused on the blue roll of film. I will shoot the red one later down the line. Once I made it back to England, I did a little bit of research on the films. Both of them are made by a company called Escura Camera, which is based in Japan, and I did a little bit of digging but couldn't find either of the films on there, which was a bit weird. They mostly sell like Polaroid cameras now, so I don't know if they've discontinued it or whatnot. The blue film is called Edo Ukiyo-e film. I've probably butchered the pronunciation of that, I'm very sorry. But it's supposed to resemble the paintings from the Edo period, which really intrigued me, and I wanted to test it out with the ocean, considering it had a picture of a wave on it, and I don't know if I took that too literally. So I took it down to my local beach. I've come to High Cliff Beach in assumption that there's going to be some surfers, but I think I'm a bit late. I think there was like waves this morning, but then later on they're getting like, now they're not as good. So I don't think there's going to be many surfers here today, but there is other areas that I can go to. Like there's a castle down the road, and there's a little forest and stuff. So we'll see what we can get. It's mega windy, so I don't really know how that's going to go. I'm not really feeling 100%, so I'm kind of hoping that this shoot will make me feel a little bit better. I have no expectations, and I don't really know what I'm going for, what vibe I'm going for. So we'll see what occurs. As I headed down the beach, I was surprised with the amount of people that were actually out, considering how cold it was. It was pretty overcast, but the film is 400 ISO, and so I thought it would hold up alright. There was families walking around with their dogs, some tourists, and some fishermen who I spotted at the end of the groin. I snapped my first photo of the day of these guys, and obviously, as it's film, I couldn't see how the images were going to turn out, but I honestly did not expect this. The colours on the film are so much more muted than in real life, which I don't love. It might just be personal preference, but the sand is almost brown and the sea is like so washed out. In terms of composition, it's alright, there's some leading lines, but we are just getting warmed up. The aim for today was more to see how the film performed rather than take any exceptional photographs. I'm taking into consideration the grain, the flexibility of the film, how forgiving it is, and most importantly, how the colours turn out. I will also say that when I was rewinding the film, I accidentally opened the back of my camera and exposed part of the film, which annoyingly is becoming a little bit of a habit. Luckily, I think only the last couple of shots were exposed, and ironically were some of my favourite shots of the day, but more on that later. I headed over to where the surfers usually are, to find only a few were out. As I said, I think the waves had pretty much died down at this point, but I waited to see if I could get anyone catching one. I waited a bit and ended up getting really bored and moved on. I thought that the way that the waves were hitting the rocks was quite cool, so I snapped a couple of photos over there. But again, the photos are not coming out the best, and I don't know if it's me or the film at this point. I headed on over to the jungly area to capture some of the greens and see how they held up with different range of colours. I snapped this photo of a couple walking down the path, with the green grass either side, and surprisingly, I really do like this one. The colour of the greens and how the hedges are either side really draws your eye into the people. As I headed deeper into the forest, I spotted an opening in the trees. I curiously headed over there and found this mysterious staircase, which I loved. I was hanging out here waiting for something to happen, and I ended up just taking a photo of the staircase itself. And I think that actually worked out better. This film seems to really deal with greens far better than it does with blues. And to give it some credit, I suppose the water here isn't necessarily blue, and neither is the sky. So maybe I'm just being a bit too harsh. Anyway, the greens are turning out wonderfully. And as I headed up through the staircase, I realized where I was. I was in the holiday park, which is nearby the beach, and these people just opened up the gate for me. But I didn't know what the code was, so I couldn't get back out. But while I was stuck up there momentarily, I decided to snap these two photos of the path and the fence. And I do quite like it. It's quite mysterious and the lighting is quite nice. Once I managed to escape from the holiday camp, I headed back towards the opening in the trees and to the back of the forest. Here there is a lovely stream where the light was peeking through. Honestly, it looked so cool in person. And so when I got this photo back from the developers, I was so disappointed. Where is the contrast? It was probably my fault for not exposing this correctly. I should have probably nudged it down a couple of stops, but by then the light had already disappeared, so I didn't have much time. If the film was more forgiving, I think this would have turned out a little bit better, but that is no excuse for my poor skills. So I walked along the stream, just following my gut really at this point. I don't really have any idea where I am. I found this cool seat and again, just waited here for something to happen, but nothing did, so it kind of seems like no one is around at the moment. I headed back towards the beach, and in the entrance of the forest I spotted a man walking his dog. As I snapped this photo, he looked at me, which I kind of like. I had to brighten this up slightly in Lightroom, just a smidge. The film just isn't getting great range of shadows and highlights, unfortunately, but I suppose it's nothing I can't fix at the end of the day. I snapped this photo on my way back to the beach, which ended up being one of my favorite photos of the day. I just love how the trees frame him, and the red outfit really stands out and matches with the post on the end of the groin. Does anyone know the name of these little post thingies? Let me know in the comments. On the right hand side you can see the light leaks come into play a little bit, and I really like it. A happy little accident. I snapped some more on my way back to the car, and as you can see, these ones mostly got affected by the light leaks. But I'm not mad about it because it's probably the only exciting thing to happen to these images today. They're a little bit boring. So as you watch me mess up the rewinding of my film and open the back of my camera and expose the last frames, I will conclude my thoughts on this film. I would probably not buy this film again. I don't love how the colors come out, and I didn't find it particularly forgiving, and it certainly has a lot of grain, which depends on your taste, of course. Some people love it, some people hate it. Alas, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Drop a comment to let me know what you think of this film and if you would buy it or not. And I will see you very soon. Bye!